I'll charge you for an e-commerce website. I'll build for you end to end, full blown, okay? Because I got a project coming in. School just wants me to build the front page. I'll do the whole thing for you. And the guy was like, okay. So that was how I made my first 12,000 ringgit. As a fresh grad, bro, I was like, gee, not even fresh grad, you're not even graduated yet. I was like, yes.
Welcome to a brand new episode of House of Hustle. Now this is where we want to talk about money, meaning and momentum, okay? Yeah. We always talk about finding your passion. We always talk about doing what you love, loving what you do. But what are the actual steps to get there? What is that gap that we need to bridge, okay? And that is where we want to learn from our guests. And our guest for today's episode, my friends, he is a hustler because I have no idea how I grew up listening to him on the radio, on Fly FM, and all of a sudden today he is the country video lead of YouTube. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's just a title.
That's just a title. That's right. So our guest for today is Ben. Thank you so much, Ben, for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for reaching out.
Funny story is that I grew up listening to you during high school days.
Okay, now you make me feel very old.
No.
High school days.
High school days. That's right. All of a sudden, right? Disappeared.
Yeah.
Off the radar.
Mm-hmm.
And I come back for this project I did for students at Jaya.
Yeah.
And I see you in front sharing your story. And I'm like, wait, that's Ben, right? So yeah, that is what we want to talk about today. What was that path like? You know, how do you end up from radio all the way up to Google?
Wow.
But yeah, okay. But before we proceed any further, maybe for those of us who have not heard about you, what would be your elevator pitch? How would you introduce yourself?
I'm a father. I got a kid.
Yeah.
His name is Evan. I got my wife. I love technology. I've used over 100 mobile phones. And my dream is to find that ultimate phone. Till today, I have yet to find the ultimate phone. Which is why I keep changing phones. And I think that's great about being humans, right? We always want the next biggest, better thing.
Yeah.
So my elevator pitch is I'm a person who I don't really look into the future so much. I think about what opportunity surfaces, and when I feel like there's not enough opportunity coming, I just make that opportunity happen.
Right.
I open the door, find ways to open another door.
Interesting. Because we always hear this saying, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
But you're not like that.
Yeah, I don't have that. In fact, if you look at it, how my journey on even going to radio began, and you missed that part of the session because you came a bit later, right?
Yeah.
It all started with me being fired. I got fired as a promoter at the age of 17.
Oh wow. Okay, hold on.
Yes.
Hold that thought, okay?
Yes.
Before we get into that.
Okay.
What exactly do you do here in YouTube Malaysia?
Okay. So the external title is Head of YouTube Malaysia. But the internal title is basically what I do is I help connect brands and help grow brands. Let's just say they're looking for, to partner with certain YouTube creators, for example,
right.
Or they would like to reach a certain set of audience. Then I show them solutions on how to reach out to those audiences.
For those of us listening and tuning in right now, what is the day-to-day like for the head of YouTube Malaysia?
Actually there's not much really. No, I do a lot of work. I promise you that. Yeah, I do a lot of work. So it all starts with. So I have a gym routine. That's the thing, right? I wake up 4:45 in the morning.
5 a.m. club. You had a 5 a.m. club.
Yeah, because the thing is, I needed to fit my gym routine ever since MCO ended, right?
Yeah.
So going to the gym is important. I need to get myself fit again. I need to eat healthy. And then by about 6 o'clock, pick up my son, send him to school. And then by the time I arrive at the office, it's about 7:45, 8 o'clock, right? And then my day begins.
That's the hustle right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, so between 8 and 9 is when my me time, right? You're replying to your emails, you're checking on things, you're thinking about what's the next big pitch to the client. Because, I think I love the idea that I am solving problems with clients.
Wow.
Clients reach out to us and they say, like, look, I'm finding it difficult to reach, say, a specific segment of audience, people who are absolutely into sports, male demographic 18 to 24. How do I reach out to them? So our solutions then enable these businesses to reach out to them at scale, right?
Wow.
And so now it's all about targeted advertising.
Right.
And we help them do that. So the skippable ads that you see, when you don't skip those ads, you help the ecosystem. You don't just help me, you help the creators too, because the creators make money.
AdSense, right?
AdSense. At the end of the day, we're building this incredible community where there's so many Malaysians now who have got YouTube channels. You've heard of probably Alif Irfan, you've probably heard of Chiki Don, and these are all these big creators, right? With millions and millions of followers. We just got I think 2 diamond creators, if I'm not mistaken.
What's a diamond creator?
Diamond creators are more than 10 million subscribers.
Malaysians?
Yeah, Malaysians.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and so obviously when you're seeing ads on these channels, when you skip that ad, you're giving less to that channel, right? You can watch that, but then again...
But they have 10 million, so...
Yeah, they have 10 million. And the thing is, at the end of the day, YouTube gives you choice.
Right.
You see an ad and it's something that you don't like, you hit the skip button,
so
and that's fine.
Yeah. But what about the ads that you can't skip? What are those?
Those are non-skip ads.
Yeah,
we have that. We've got
ads,
bumpers, that is 6 seconds, and then non-skip ads, which are about 20 seconds.
Right.
So yes, they pay a bit more of a premium than clients,
Yep.
which means these particular channels get a little bit more. But I think it's down to, in YouTube we care a lot about not just the community of the creators, but also the users, because it's the users that help fuel the whole thing, right? If we annoy the users, the viewers, then there'll be less viewers and then less money for the creators, and then the platform just doesn't work, right?
That's what you do here in Google. And what's it like working here, by the way? Because the only visual representation I have of working in Google is from the movie The Internship, right? That's in Google US. So what's it like? Is that similar? Do you have free lunches, beanbags everywhere? What's the culture like?
So before Google, I was working in various organizations. Right? I was with the AirAsia Group, I was with Tune Protect, I was with Media Prima, I was with Astro, So,
big names.
And then there are some companies where I got fired from, that one company, which I'll tell you one day, if there's opportunity I'll tell you about that too.
I want to talk about that,
So I think what you see about what Google offers is true. Yes, we do get free lunches. Yes, we do get free breakfast. We don't have to worry about any of this thing. Yes, we do get good perks.
Free coffee.
We get free coffee when he just arrives. Like, hey, would you like coffee? Right? There's no need of me going down to the nearby cafe and getting a cup of coffee. So I save money, which is good, right? Everybody wants to save some money. But I think at the end of the day, why Google does this is just so that they remove worries from you, right? When they give you all these benefits, like protection for your family, medical benefits, right, food benefits and stuff like that, you waste less time driving out looking for lunch, figuring out, oh my gosh, what I'm going to eat today. Packing. You're taking care about your health. Like, okay, am I eating the right kind of food? So one of the things about eating in the office is that we cater, and soon you'll see, because we're going to take you for lunch after this, we take care of every single dietary requirement. So if you're a vegan, you're a vegetarian, you're a meat eater, you eat salad only or whatever it is, so Google provides for that. This is because number one, they care about your well-being. Number two, it's about making sure that you're worry-free, right? So you can do your maximum work. When you got less worries in your head, you just do your work. That's it. I can do my work up until the last minute before lunch, stand up, have my lunch, and come back, and that's fine, right? So in a way, it optimizes my time. So the perks are there for a reason.
You don't have to clock in, clock out, right? Is it flexible?
We're quite flexible because I think it's all about the results. It's not so much of how much time you clock in.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, a lot of us, of course, the thing is, it's good to be in the office.
Right.
It's good to be with your colleagues because then, during MCO period, all of us were working from home. And then when that happened, I realized that, I need to talk to somebody. It's about like scheduling that call, telling telling the person, hey, can I see you at 12:30 today? But then there's that gap between now and that call, and you waste that time. But if you were in front of me, I can just say, hey.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah, just for 5 minutes, bro. Just quick one. And say, yeah, okay, agreed. Boom, done. So I think those kind of things are important.
Yeah.
Having that interaction and that speeds things up a lot.
I heard this rumor saying that the Google staff, employees, are not allowed to take any Instagram stories or videos or any photos of the office and post it up on social media. Is this true?
No, it's not true. We don't have rules like that.
I heard it's a legit rumor, bro.
Yeah.
Like they're saying that it's very exclusive. You can't. Also, it's not true.
No, okay. So we have certain areas that we don't
PNC,
allow.
right?
Yeah, that we don't have visitors for some reasons, right? Because we could be showcasing financials or projects or whatever. But when you come to Google and when you got the opportunity to, there are areas that are cordoned off specifically for guests.
Right.
And when you come in, just take your photos, take your videos, do whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So guys, the rumor is false.
Yeah.
So there's no
Not
such
true.
thing. Not true at all. Let's go back to Fly FM. Let's talk about Fly FM for a bit. Talk to me about you being fired.
Oh yeah.
What was that about?
So okay.
At 17.
I was
SPM age.
Yes, 17 years old, right after SPM, right? All my friends were like, hey, oh my gosh, we should do some jobs, just make some money. Some was like, they were doing promoter jobs and they were making some money.
Like the shopping malls.
Yeah,
where they just stand there.
Correct.
Okay.
I was like, okay, what are the opportunities? Then, this is back then, I'm not revealing my age too much. We look at job openings on newspapers, okay?
Yeah.
Classifieds.
Right, classifieds.
Nobody does that now. So I was looking through it, I was like, oh.
What's a newspaper?
It's a paper.
It's a paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go through the newspaper, and I saw that. I was like, oh, okay, there's an opportunity. And with this company that it's called Princess. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, love the brand. Princess, by the way, they don't sell princess clothes. I've
never heard of this.
They're actually, I think they're a Norwegian brand.
Okay.
So they sell like all the kettles, ironing board, irons, and all that kind of stuff, hair curlers. So anyway. Got the role. The guy said, okay, why don't you just work as a promoter? And I was selling it at Jaya Jusco. And then one of those days, this colleague of mine said, hey Ben, you know what? You cover me because I'm going off for a bit.
Okay.
And then when it's your turn, I cover you lah. I said, okay lah. So I covered him. When it was Chinese New Year, I was like, hey, Chinese New Year now, can you cover me? And he's like, okay.
He said okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I left. He didn't cover me. Chinese New Year, right? Lots of people shopping at Jaya Jusco. My boss was so upset. He called me and said, where the heck are you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm Chinese New Year. Isn't he supposed to be there? No, nobody is there. So the counter was unmanned. The period was over. So I got fired. And they said, come in, collect your last check. Oh, shit. So went there, collect my last check. It was 1,500 ringgit, if I recall. 1,200
per month?
ringgit. One of those. It was that.
Like,
that month. Because plus all my commissions and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was a lot of money then, okay?
It is actually for someone, probably a fresh grad or even like
17,
someone
18
just...
years old, right? So I took that and then I said, let me just go and buy a gadget. I've always loved gadgets. So I bought a gadget.
What was the gadget?
It was a pocket PC. Do you know pocket PCs? PDAs, personal digital assistants.
Right.
Yeah, this before you put in SIM cards. Now no SIM cards then in these PDAs, right?
Okay.
Little pocket computers.
Yeah.
And mine was a Cassiopeia Pocket PC by Casio. Color screen, super excited with it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I remember spending all of that money. I only left about 30 ringgit in my pocket, which I used for lunch.
Okay.
And then my salary was over. I was like, okay, what do I do with this gadget? Wrote a review on this gadget. And then I posted it online because I was like, write a review, put where?
Yeah.
So I posted it on Amazon. I posted it on this xfresh.com, which is now I know it's like an Astro website.
Okay.
So it's a review thing, okay? And usually at the end of all my reviews, I've got this message at the bottom saying, hey, why don't you just ping me or just go to my ICQ. ICQ, by the way, is a messenger for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. What is an ICQ? It's like your social media
It's like
back
a
then.
messenger.
Right.
Okay, it's like MSN Messenger, but they have a number.
Okay.
My number was 3504748. I will never forget that number. So you put that number in and you find, and then when someone messages you, it'll go like, oh, it's got that special sound. You can still find it today. That's the one. So I will see that, and so after posting that, a few days later, somebody pinged me, and they say, hey, I say, hey you, who's this? And he's like, I'm TJ. TJ from where? From Astro. And then, okay, TJ, yeah, why don't you
What's
know,
up? What's
come
up,
in?
TJ?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, TJ, by the way, if you hear him now on AirAsia, he flies planes. He is JFK, TJ.
That's TJ.
Yeah, that's TJ.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So he said, come in and we would like to interview you. We are looking for a good writer. You write well, that kind of stuff. Then I went in there. I remember I wrote my article. I showed what I could write. I also showed that I'm actually a web developer because I am a geek. I code.
Wow.
So I said I could design websites. I could also code. And he was like, oh, okay. So it looks like you can have this talent, which means you can do this. So then I was hired by Express Astro to do some web development. So we developed sites for like Hits FM, Light and Easy, Mix FM, My FM, and so on. So yeah, that whole community was all teenagers. We all built stuff together. And then one day, Hits had an opening. Ben, would you like to voice on air? I was like the technology expert lah. So when I got in there, that's how I started on radio. And now that was 17, right? 17, 18, 19. My mom was like back to school already, so I went back to school. So while I was in university,
What did you study in university? By the way?
it was business and IT. So I did more coding.
Because you enjoy doing it, right?
I loved coding. I love talking to computers.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a bit sad, but that's how I did it.
No, I like how you knew what you wanted to do. I mean, most of us, like, before we even went into university, we were still trying to find what we want to do. And
I think
how did you actually get that?
I think the answer is more of like what gets you excited. Like for me, it was a bit weird. I enjoyed reformatting my computer. I did. So I'll be like running my computer, right? I was like, yeah, it looks so messy already. Let's reformat. And I enjoyed reinstalling the operating system, reinstalling the software, opening up all this kind of stuff. I would do that from time over and over again. In fact, I think that's what got me excited about computing. And then one day I was like, okay, got no games. My parents didn't buy me games. They got chess. I'm like,
Chess.
yeah, so
Solitaire.
Solitaire. I'm like, it's all free games.
Yeah.
And my computer wasn't very changgih. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I did was I then went into DOS, Microsoft DOS, black screen. Some of you may not know it. Microsoft DOS. There's a C:/ like that thing. Then what do I do with this prompt? Then I discovered in MS-DOS there's this programming language or tool called BASIC,
Okay.
also known as QBasic. And then I told my mom, hey, this thing, you can code, right? And she's like, yeah, I can code. Then what do you want to do? Can you send me from coding classes? Went for coding classes, and that's how this whole interest built. Then when it came time for university, I was like, I want to do IT, right? I want to do IT and business, yeah.
So then where did you study, by the way? Like
Monash University.
Monash University. You did IT, business and IT.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, how do you end up? So you stopped radio announcing with
Yeah. So you're getting the longer version, which is great because the version I told the kids that came the other day was a shorter version.
Yeah. So you stopped because you had to focus on uni?
Yes, it didn't really stop. So
you can do part-time.
So I still did the weekends part-time with
Right.
them, with Hits. And then once I was done, I was hired by this .com company that wanted to develop a website. Now, how it all happened was because at the end of uni, my professor was like, okay, everybody's going to build an e-commerce website. Okay, just build a front page, right? Just show it, I can show them products or whatever. I was like, maybe there's an opportunity to make money here. So let me just contact some friends. So my friends found out that there are some businesses out there who want to build e-commerce websites. I was like, okay, cool. I'll charge you for an e-commerce website. I'll build for you end to end, full blown, okay? Because I got a project coming in. School just wants me to build the front page. I'll do the whole thing for you. And the guy was like, okay. So that was how I made my first 12,000 ringgit. As a fresh grad, bro, I was like, gee, not even fresh grad, you're not even graduated yet. I was like, yes. So 12,000 ringgit, the company paid me, and then I built lah.
So 12,000 ringgit to build up like an e-commerce site, platform, website for them?
Yes, that was meant for my school project anyway. So it was like 2 birds in 1 stone. Built that, and then when my professor saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I asked you to build the front page, but you built the whole entire thing. Like you could transact, you could pay.
Yeah.
I connected it with PayPal and a whole load of stuff. And I was like, this is amazing. This is exactly what we need to do, right? And I remember after I graduated, the school still used my project as like this is the gold standard that a student did last time. So it made me really proud.
Whoever is studying in Monash right now,
don't know if it's still there.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool because when we talk about hustling, we talk about building our side hustles. It starts it can start anytime. There's no age limit. You don't have to graduate first and
Yeah.
then find a job.
Yeah.
And look at that, 12,000 ringgit. You know, that's when I was working with Sony, right? That's equivalent to what, 4 months of my pay. But yeah, nowadays with technology, you can just do just that, right?
Yeah.
But what I like, right, is I always knew you as a communicator. I always knew you as someone who speaks for a living. I did not know that you were someone with these skills as well.
Yeah.
So you were leveraging on all your skill sets.
Yes.
So talk to me about what happened after you got paid for this gig, right? It's huge. It's a big project.
Yeah.
Why did you continue this? What made you go back to radio?
Yeah. So after I built this, the company came back and said, "Hey, you know what? Can we hire you?" I'm like, sure. So graduated, got hired. I was their solutions architect for a bit. So what I did was I built more systems. So I enlarged the system. I built something like a CRM system. I built an ERP system. I built a mobile payment platform for them. It was all web-based. And I loved doing it. I was just one person coding all of that. Yeah, it's just me. That's why I'm a massive geek. So I started building all of that, and it really just drove me forward. Now, while that was happening, I think that lasted for about maybe a few years. Then one day, I heard there's a brand new station on air called Fly FM, started by Fly Guy, whom I knew from my hits days. And then I say, "Fly, so good to hear you on air again." He said, "Yes, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm working on this company now, blah, 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 doing tech." He said, "Would you like to do weekends?" I said, "Yeah, let's try weekends." So I would drive all the way to KLIA and I did weekends on Fly FM.
Oh,
the studio was there.
The studio was in KLIA?
Yeah, then we would actually have to pass through the immigration counters.
What?
Yeah, because you got to take the train all the way to gate C3 where people take off to London. It's
Wow.
Gate C3, that whole zone there. So at the
really
Sunflight
flying
Terminal,
Fly
literally.
FM. Okay, I
Very
get it.
sad because you see people flying off a holiday and you're going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then one day, after a few months of doing that on weekends, Sealand Paul, who then bought over Fly FM, it's like the Media Prima group, absorbed Fly FM. They're like, "Hey, you know what? I think you got potential to become a real DJ, on weekdays. Would you like to take a slot?"
Sealand Paul,
Yes.
by the way,
Yes.
he's my uncle. So yeah.
He's your uncle?
Yes, he's my uncle.
Wow.
So
Small world.
very small. Yeah, he's one of my role models as well. Actually, he was the one that helped me, not to help me, but triggered me to quit my engineering job to pursue this.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay.
So it's nice to hear that he did something similar for you as well.
So Sealand Paul, how it worked out was, got in the role, right? And then, then you work years and years doing afternoon shifts, night shifts, morning shifts. Then you start hearing me on radio on all different times of the day.
Right.
And then at one point I was on breakfast. Now on radio, breakfast is like the show already.
Were you still doing your other job?
Yeah, so I was consulting on the side. So like, "Ben, I still need to maintain my website that you built, right?" I was like, "Okay." But then they said, "But let me just pay you a retainer so that you can help manage some of that if possible." I said, "Yeah, no problem. It's like a side job, or they would pay me per campaign or whatever."
Okay. Talk to me about that transition, right? Because you love this thing. You love this thing that you do, which is with IT.
Yeah.
But what was that transition like to actually, you know what? Yeah, I want to be on radio now.
Radio fire was always in me when I tasted it at the age of 17.
Wow.
So for me, it was a no-brainer going back to radio. But then it was like, geez, but I really done so much work on this for this company. I can't just let them off, right?
Right.
So then the decision was like, look, can we just do a bit of a win-win situation? I will still support you on the side. You can still call me anytime. Is there a retainer that we can work out on while I get this move on to this job?
That's great.
And then during your peak shopping seasons, let me know, then I can come in and do a per campaign basis for you.
Wow.
So it was something that we worked out. I think it's important not to burn your bridges, right? And also care about just the people that helped you, because without that company, Pen Gallery, I wouldn't have been able to have all that exposure in tech. And then of course, the opportunity there.
Yeah.
Then when going back into radio, it was like, wow, like my world changed all over again. I think that lasted for about 5 or 6 years. In that 5 or 6 year period, that's when I was moving from shift to shift until breakfast.
Yeah.
Then one fine day, it was during a town hall. I remember this. Sealand Paul, who was the CEO of radio then, he was doing a town hall, and then he went back to his room. I was telling myself, oh my gosh, I've been on radio for this long, and I'm already on breakfast. how many more years can I do this? What's next for me?
Wow.
Doors were not opening, so create my opportunity. And that's when I I actually went back to my desk. I opened up my MacBook and I started building like a mini deck on the spot during the town hall.
Wow.
Okay, I did a few slides. I think it was like 4 or 5 slides. It was like, this is what I am. You know of me, Ben. You know I'm techie,
Okay.
but you don't know that I have actually this side hustle with this other company, right? I'm actually I can build solutions. I can build systems, and then here's what I think I can do for the radio network. And Seelan was like, oh, interesting. What can you do? I said, let me just revamp your online, radio service. And that's how I became a digital technologist for the radio network.
While
and then I
being
have
an
a double
announcer.
hit. So yeah, it was breakfast, that thing, and then I would also have a consulting role to support the business, right? And that's how I had that double hat thing, which was great. And then Seelan, he partnered me with Alex Poon, who is this guy who takes care of tech, creative media and solutions. We worked together very well. And then, that was like a double hatting role for almost another 5 years. So that prolonged my career, right? And that made me go like, okay, I can still stay in radio. And then one fine day I go like, okay, maybe it's time to make a move.
Right.
Because, I'm done with radio. I want to switch to a different industry. And what could be next? Online streaming services. That's where Tonton came about.
Okay.
Tonton is part of, it's like an online streaming service
Tonton.
by Media Prima. And it was Seelan again who introduced me into that role. It's like, you know what? Don't leave radio. Stay within Media Prima. Why don't you get on to Tonton? And that's how I went into Tonton. We expanded Tonton, the platform, into Singapore, into Brunei. We made it a freemium service, so it's a free and a paid service. It was an exciting time. I spent about 2.5 years there.
Yeah.
And then I got a call from someone who said, hey, we're looking for a CMO for Tune Protect. And that was like, I think I spent about 1.5 years or 2 there. And then that's when I got the call from Google. It's like, yeah. Well, that's because the reason why is because I have applied for Google 28 times.
You didn't give up?
Yeah, 28 times over a period of, I think it was 3 or 5 years. I've always wanted to enter Google. Huge Google fanboy, although you see me using Apple and Macs and all that, right? But that's because I'm just using devices, right? But I'm constantly going back and forth between devices, between Androids and
Oh, serious?
iOS.
You didn't just stick to one?
I don't stick to one.
I'm an Apple geek, man.
Yeah, really? Oh, okay.
I'm an Apple fanboy.
Yeah.
But also you are more of tech, whatever
I'm
tech
just
is,
tech,
whatever
yeah.
tech can serve you well, right?
That's right.
Okay. So Google gave you a call.
Yeah, so I got that one call to meet with someone, and then one thing led to another, and then the interview began. I think there was 5 or 6 different interviews.
What was that like?
It was very stressful because you have to really prepare. You really got to learn up your stuff. I remember I've never studied so hard for a non-exam. It was not an exam, but you feel like you're going through an exam for every single interview that you go through. Because I needed to make sure that I knew my industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think despite me learning all that, but when I came in here, I'm like, wow, I might know about digital marketing and advertising and YouTube as a platform.
Yeah.
But nothing of what I learned out there versus what I know today, I mean, that's like a huge gap. Like, nothing would have prepared me for what I'm going to learn here. I feel like I grew a few more brain cells since I've come in here. It really does change a person.
How long have you been with Google already?
3.5 years. Yeah,
3.5 years.
closing to 4 years. In a few months' time, I'll be hitting 4 years already in Google.
Congrats.
Time just flies. You learn a lot. It also changes your perspective because of the Google culture. You tend to also mold yourself into becoming a better person. It's not just better skilled worker with more knowledge, but a better person.
Wow.
How do you be a little bit more inclusive over every single thing around you? Be a bit more sensitive about the people around you. Be more conscious. I think these things are very important and they get forgotten. Something as simple as, you notice Google's all about inclusivity, including food. The food that we have, like I told you, right? We take care of every single dietary requirement out there.
Right.
Like for example, let me give you an idea. If somebody, and this is a question, right? If somebody just came back from maternity leave, okay? She gave birth to a baby,
Okay.
came back, right? Just starting, right? and then you're in the same team.
Okay.
Now you're going ahead and say, hey, X person X, you just came back from maternity. Let me do a bit of that role for you so that you can go back and take care of your baby lah. It's fine.
Okay.
Now that's a good gesture, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the right thing to do.
Why?
Because how do you know if that person is capable or not? Why are you making that initial judgment that the person is not able to ramp up on time? So there are things like that we are learning, and these are nuances that I go like, wow, it's very interesting.
You start thinking about
you start thinking a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, so because that person might say, yeah, I'm capable, that's why I'm back at work. I'm willing to do 100%.
Wow.
Why are you saying that you're cutting me off from that
who are
job?
you?
Like, who are you to say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless I'm asking for help, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So it's important to just be conscious of these things.
For those of us maybe tuning in right now, listening, watching, who may be fresh grads, maybe thinking about applying for a job at Google, what would be your advice on preparation, or who would be your ideal candidate, for example?
So I don't think there is an ideal candidate for Google.
Nice.
Google is about inclusiveness, and we think about team ad. So let me tell you one thing. When I was hired in my team, in my cohort of Nooglers, people who just joined Google, Nooglers, there was one guy, and it was a team, and everyone was like, okay, what role are you going to do? Da, 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 da. Everyone was introducing themselves, and there's this one guy who says, I have no clue why I'm here. And everyone was asking him, why? I'm being hired for a sales role, but I've never done sales in my life. In fact, I'm from the banking world. I take care of administration stuff in banking. I do analysis, but he's supposed to take care of sales. So that's where Google comes in. Google is a place where we team ad. Like, we want to bring your finance background into your team. You will ramp up to being a great salesperson, regardless.
Yeah.
Right? Notice I didn't say salesman or saleswoman.
Salesperson.
There you go. So it's all these very, very little things that we are a little bit more conscious about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone is included. Feel free to apply 28 times, and if you don't get anything, apply for the 29th time, right?
Yeah, just go for it. Just apply. And then when you go for an interview, right, I
Yeah.
think you have to be as self as possible. Just be yourself, but you got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
You really got to know yourself. You got to learn up the industry. And the thing is, when a role opens up in Google, we got tons and tons of applications, right?
Yeah.
Don't give up. You get filtered. If you get filtered through the millions of applications that come through, then you're already in that. The fact that you got interviewed is really very cool.
Wow.
And once you go through the interview, there could be 3, 4, 5 interviews, or even 6 interviews. For me, it took almost 6 months in total for the whole process. And then I remember when I got the letter that says that congratulations. Whew! Happiest moment of my life. And then I told myself, this could just be the last company that I'll be working for. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't
Opportunities abound, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm inspired, Ben. I just want to share that. Just listening to your story, your background. What is one advice you'd share for those maybe? I don't want to talk about 20s lah, right? It can be anyone who is feeling stuck right now.
Yeah.
In life.
I think there's a very difference between passion and easy to do.
Wow.
That's a very big difference, right? Something that's easy to do and fun may not necessarily be your passion. Because it's easy to do, it's fun, keep doing it, right? That's something that you can do in your free time. A passion is something that you do and you go like, no matter how hard it is, you go like, my gosh, you just feel that fire burning, so exciting. I love doing it. Why? Because, like, for example, I love it when brands come back to me and say, my gosh, we hit the kind of metrics that we have, aimed for. We wanted to hit these specific target audiences. We managed to hit it. We saw improvements in our sales. We were able to work with specific creators on YouTube to drive even more sales. And creators really does drive impact to our business. Those kind of stories are amazing to me.
Wow.
Because you're changing. So I think my overarching, thing, if you read even my LinkedIn profile, is I want to find ways to change the way people live and play and work.
Wow.
And that would come from every facet, right? Whether and how can, so my passion would be to drive something that can impact whatever I just wrote in my LinkedIn profile.
It's deeper than just a job title.
It's deeper than just a job title. Like, honestly, I don't care if I'm called the head of YouTube or YouTube lead, YouTube salesperson, just YouTube guy, YouTube boy. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's as long as I am impacting my clients, like in this case here, in my context, impacting my clients, impacting creators, seeing creators super happy because they're making more money.
Wow.
Right? During the pandemic, we saw a lot of that happen when everything was shut down, right? No external events. How do these creators make money? Our role was to find ways to partner brands with these creators so that they make money and make their meets end.
Wow.
So I think back to your question of if you're stuck, think about what truly is that passion and try to remove easy, right?
Ooh, wow.
Remove easy. If it's a passion that you like to say you love doing videos, then do the best video ever. Keep pushing yourself. It will be difficult, but if it's truly your passion, no matter how difficult it is, you will do it. Like I loved reformatting my computer.
Yeah.
And that was my passion.
Right.
But I didn't end up formatting computers in my life today.
Yeah.
But today what I do is I'm still very much linked in tech. Because I loved how you stack software, how you install the software first, how you install the drivers, how you get the software to operate, how to configure it, make it perfect.
Thank you so much, Ben, for sharing that. I think that was the first time I kind of got that perspective on finding your passion. Passion isn't something that comes natural to you, not necessarily, but something that no matter how hard it is to complete the task, to achieve, you will still do it.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm inspired. How about you guys? Thank you so much, Ben, for your time.
Yes.
Don't forget to follow Ben on LinkedIn as well on Instagram and subscribe to his YouTube channel as well.
Oh, my YouTube channel is tiny, but any subscribers useful. Any subscribes useful.
Show some love. Alright, before we wrap up, guys, I do have this question. Can you bring us on a tour?
Yeah.
Showable places.
I can show you some showable places, yes.
Alright, let's go.
Floor number 28 of Google. This is a brand new floor we just launched after the pandemic. You can see the designs up here. It's really beautiful. It's actually done by various artists. That's actually a VR wall. So if you put on your VR goggles, things actually start floating out. And let me just show you how it will look like if you got your goggles on. It'll look like this. So you see a bit of space coming through. That's how it'll look like, and that's the artist.
Ray Hong Yi.
That's right, you know her.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And then of course, if you come over to this side, there's this gorgeous section where a lot of people like to do stories, or shorts, or whatever you want to call it. It's a really nice short area, like, if you take a picture like that and you got that behind you, the nice big G at the back.
Looks good.
Yeah, it has that whole infinity wall, infinity view.
Okay.
But one thing people don't know is as you walk towards the end, we actually have a rainforest in Google. This rainforest is at the back here. These are real plants, by the way. That's here. So all these plants are real.
Wow.
So it's a bit like the whole Avatar feel. If you look at it, these lights are giving you that little twinkling feel, right? It's like the Malaysian rainforest. So you chill. If you breathe in the air here, it smells green because these are real plants. Yeah.
I smell it.
And if you look at the flooring,
do people just chill here and do work, or?
Yeah, you can chill here, do work, right? Do whatever you want to do. You can see these cocktail tables here. People are just chilling.
Okay.
But of course, the floor is interesting as well.
What's
now,
on the floor?
in the evening, when it gets darker, you can actually see a bit of a water effect moving. So the idea is to create that whole Malaysian rainforest feel where there's a river passing through.
Wow.
Okay, so there you go. That's our little terrarium, which I quite love. And now I'm going to show you the ground floor entrance, or rather the level 20 entrance. So this is another section. This has also been changed. Yeah, so this is what we call, this place used to be called Merdeka. The area is called Merdeka on the inside. The reason why it's called Merdeka is because it's a big auditorium. Oh, there's nobody inside today. So you can see that's the auditorium. So where we do a lot of our team huddles, our all hands, see all the Google logos up there, all our little icons, our little apps, really gorgeous.
Yeah, man. Google Drive, Google Meet.
Yes.
Google Chrome.
That's right. All the colors are very googly as well. And then as you walk in here, we enter into, so this area is an entertainment room. I can't bring you in.
Right. What is an entertainment room?
So we've got the PlayStations and stuff in there. So that's where you can just really have fun. We have a snooker zone here, not snooker, like a pool table here. And this is obviously the mission of Google. We organize the world's information, make it accessible and useful, right? And if you look up, this is actually following our Play icon, the Google Play. So this is the Play zone, which is quite cool. And then if you see this is very cool. This is a one-of-a-kind kayak that goes into the sea. And if you look at this camera here, this is what we use to film all the 360 videos. For, you know, we have this on top of cars, but this is in the sea, which is amazing.
Wow.
And to bring this fella up here, we actually had to get a crane to go through this window.
What?
Yeah, we couldn't bring the thing up because it was too long. It couldn't enter any lift or whatsoever, so it's crazy.
Okay.
So that's that.
What's the phone booth?
A phone booth is just for you to do casual calls when you want some privacy.
Right.
They are, for you to chill, go in there, just do your calls.
Okay.
Little booth there. There's an aircon vent that brings in the air. So that's nice.
Awesome.
And then behind here, there's like a little TV couch zone. We don't usually use this very much, but last time we used to play a lot of Nintendo here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see the Switch is still there, that little controller thing.
All right.
Yes, and then, well, there are sleeping zones in Google, but I can't bring you into the area. That place is...
It's
like a napping place.
Do you take naps during work? I don't think so.
I tried to, but there's no time for nap. Yeah, and it's in the area here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one looks a bit like a rainforest. When you go in there, you feel like you're in the jungle somewhere.
Wow.
Okay, and then this is usually the entrance. We're actually doing you like a reverse introduction of Google. This is usually what you will arrive to when you first arrive at Google Malaysia. And then you got this tag. This tag, by the way, is quite cool because you get to access all the Google offices in the world. One tag. So you just beep, it goes green.
Have you been to other offices?
Yeah, I've been to the Singapore, the Paris one, the Japan one.
Cool.
They're quite cool. So this is the entrance, and that's the Google mural.
This changes, right? Or is it?
Yeah, so this is new. This has changed. And again, this is an art piece.
Right.
Details of the art piece is over here. No, that's okay. You're good. That's the art piece.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the cafeteria. Okay.
Free food.
Yes, that's where your free food is. And
Thank you
then,
so much, Ben.
And then we just end right here, and he's gonna have lunch with us right now.